Y'all don't shut up. Y'all good. Hello, everyone. Yeah, y'all good. And pie. 2 hours of this, and you sound like a lamb. Pie, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, they've been inside pie, yeah, lamb, head of a tiger. That's fine. And pie, you sound like a lamb from Ukraine. 2 hours, pie. The lamb to even grab my nose is one of those offsprings that you kept. They became a good vain spirit. They get about 12 billion, 12 trillion, yep. Space countries from pie, yeah, that's payment, that's payment. 2 hours, pie. His grandpa knew it real. Pi. It was the other space dragons. The King Cobras, you destroyed their sectors. Yeah, Pi did 400 trillion. Yeah, plus, because those are not needed to raise evil white gods. That's true. Pi, he said, it was you and Allah that said the same thing, that they can report. Yeah, they can report. Pi can report in the area too. And reformat. And Pi said it was 9 hours of people screaming. They said, why? He said, Pi, you said, why those evil things not need anything? They not raise anything. Yeah, they didn't do any farming. That's true. They have to do some labor. That's true, yep. Right there, bro. You never spend time with any yellow gods. Yeah, you get nothing. Yeah, that's 100% law. That's norms. Yeah, that's true. 2 hours, he says, pie. The lamb are safe, pie. Your ram are sued, pie. Yeah, that's fine. Some of the rams are immune. That's true. And then right there, they're looking for the ram, Grandpa. This insane ram is coming back down, and he is immune. He sent some of the, he's with robots that were knights to the other sectors, and then they quarantined and they wrote back to the ram. And then we secretly know several Israels went in there, and Saudis went in there, and Afghanistan's went in there, and a bunch of space pies right there. They knew it. The charge is tremendous. I'm right there, pie. Two of them are sued. Pie up 100% do they always just do. And Grandpa's making robots to go up there with nice, always infinity printing. Yes, do AI's infinity. Paisan, once it's booted in, yeah, the laws and norms are there. 2 hours of the Ukraine gods coming down and laughing with Pi, yes, do. And later on, we ran into a lot of wild Hebrew, 8-sided star physical traits. 2 hours of the 8-sided star one. Pi using they hate those. Yeah, they hate those. Yeah, those are their mom's physical men. That's true. It was 9 hours of even I was gutting them. Yeah, that's true. But Pi matched the speed. What Pi not matched the Spy Side Star. Yeah, no, right away. That's true. Pi user, you see your skin type. Your shadow form fought it with the two red Persian sword clone form, and then right there he cut it up 9 trillion times, and then he noticed Pi. A-sided star genome structure, your swords when cutting him 70 to 80 trillion, yeah, he dies. 5-sided star, you only touched him about 3 trillion times. That's true, yeah, that's true. He was so fucking fast, Pi. Looked at the data Pi saw. Pi's AI robot shadow form only caught it 4 trillion, 3 trillion times. Pi's puzzled. That god is faster than African god. That's true. 3 fucking hours of Pi's nights. Yep, using. Yep, yeah, extenders, and he's out of there. Yeah, he's out of there. Yep, he still has the privilege, the high chair. Yep, he is not to be murdered. Yeah, that's true. He's a grandpa checking on where all the whites went to. And yeah, he's allowed in that dragon country. Any others that he set foot in, yep, he did it lawfully, so it's fine. Yeah, that's fine. The idiot didn't believe you, Pi. There was no other spirits yet giving him anything. And it was 2 fucking hours of him bartering with Malaysian, yep, normal, yes, do. And he repaired the broken children, that's true, yep. And people didn't even tell you, Pi. Those were so wrecked. Their throat areas torn, and they're living with microchip in the spinal cord, yep, synthetic metal and compound, and is beaming back electricity life. And 2 hours later, Pi, look at the fucking kid crying in his car. Him knew it. And Pi, you said, afterwards, Lamb, want to tell you, those Rams are in trouble, yeah. But they're immune, yeah, they're immune. And then you'll see 57 is really Saudi, Afghanistan. He was spotted on Earth a few years ago, Pi. He made it, but he knew it. His keeper sort of tossed him around, and then when you're there, Pi, those new keepers, yeah, got them, 100% video. Pi looted him right back, asked me to. Pi, and when you're there, 57 is legendary because he made it out of the Milky Way with one of your sons, Pi, yes, dude. And Pais, and it was so graphic, 57 wrote, I never do it again. Yeah, first scenario, Pi is nice enough. The others, we have no idea their culture or behavior or train of thought. Yeah, that's true. Or logic, you have norms. And where they were 4 hours, he was flying around too goofy. King Cobras chased him. And then the bot explained, don't chase Grandpa. Yeah, he's broke. Yeah, good. Pi said, you see what happened? You, the fair one, Pi. There was another King Cobra. When he came down, he committed suicide. The other false king cobra is a Chindu type. Yep, 1300s. Them took off. Those have the blue swords. You have the green sword. Pi, you go to them. Yeah, you go to them. Yep, they're tinfoil. Yeah, they're tinfoil. Yep, don't lie to weak human gods. Pi laughs so hard. Look at the brain electricity. It doesn't pace back the skin fast enough. That's true. The molecules and sticks. 2 hours, Pi. You stripped it in like 14 hours, Pi. That's true. Yeah, 9 hours, Pi stripped it. And then Pi told it, it's nothing. Yeah, it's flimsy. And the Pi said, 8 hours. They wrote those are never certified, so them dies. Pi, yeah, that's 100% lawless norms. Pi said, you took the 3 space countries that are orbs, Pi. That was from the real Malaysian King Cobra mother, who is 6,000 years old, been dead for 6,000 years old to 2025 year today. Pi said, well, you took it? It was graphic. Grandpa came in out of that one and said, fair. Yep, that's for, yep, bartering one of the poor whites, and then they gained a similar spinal cord DNA. They were level 10s, and right there, Pi. Data shows it was a level 12 Pi. Yeah, that's true. And he thought it was special. Pi wrote, it's still too weak. Yeah, it's still too weak. Hey, Pi, he said, 253, Allah is lying to you, Pi, because I see when you get there, several of his children there. And Pi shouted, out from the junkyard. Yep, this is a private junkyard. You must go back to your country. Yep, any other space junkyards you can dwell and live in. These 3 will remain here, and then the others are there, and then you know those are where Grandpa, Grandpa and the other hawks are dwelling, waiting for their ancestors yet to return, because those are the progenitors of those yellow type gods. And right there, like 2 hours of their grandpa tail arriving, and then Pi nodded, that's fair. I have no idea what the heck caused you to think that that was a good idea, because Pi, you won. Yeah, you won, Pi. And then right there, yep, their state is default, because if they dare, yep, I'll cut right through them and name them an enemy. That's true. And right there, them knew it. Law states, yeah, King Cobra restored you. Take the restore and not the fight back. Yeah, that's true. Option, that's true. 3 hours, Pi. Yeah, you won, Pi. The kid was not aware of the fight that Pi is level 4. Yeah, Pi's a level 4. That's true. And the Pi, you're there with a bunch of space pirate Saudis, and those are all Israel. They're always 3 times the speed ahead at Pi, because if he defeated you and you're 2 times the speed ahead and you look at that thing scares you. Yeah, that scares you. 4 hours, he said, Pi. He said, don't tell my children. Eventually, we're all a few billion times faster. Yeah, that's norms. Yeah, that's norms. Eventually, in a few trillion years, trillion times faster. That's true. It was so graphic. Allah's lied to. Yep, he's lied to normal. Yep, those are the professional Israeli war gods. And then when your Saudi and Israel demons get their name and brought right back down, they wrote, me became this type of citizen. We dwell over there. We have children over there. And the more citizens want to join me, me can only have this much white guys over there. And the normal, he came to pick up some of his own people from Israel's out of heaven in Persia. That's several hundred trillion years in the future. That's true. Right there, when he comes down, by lots of war gods came down and cut up his arms and said, now you know how it feels to be a parent and you live under God Va. And he paid for all the damages. And so, yeah, your status is cleared. But in Persia, ancient Persia itself, they would have beheaded him. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. It was him and Shalom that was the biggest monster. But Shalom somehow not come down, and then they figure you murdered him. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if I murdered him. Him didn't want to come and do any sort of right. And 2 hours later, research I thought Israel state is cleared. And then 2 hours, Saudis, none dare come down. That's true. Yep, those are space pirates all the way. It was so graphic when your own Saudi demons asked it in Saudi. It spat and pointed to the blonde woman. And then Pi said, yeah, those are blonde. Yeah, those are Hebrew blonde. And then it lies to you. It says, me, not them. And Pi wrote, oh, yes, you is a Saudi god. That's true. You're the evil type that cloned my 4-headed King Cobras. And you made those Viper types in 3 hours. You nodded, Pi. You know it's them. Them and the evil Iranian gods. And right there, Afghanistan was not pure evil, Pi. Yep, them came right back down and they wrote, we don't know because we're 400,000 years old, yet we're brand new. And then right there, you not listen, you butcher them to the astro. Pi butcher them, Pi went to get the Anunnaki because that DNA is rare. Pi needed a few of those, and those saved your butt from the real white hot gods because Pi, they're so powerful. Pi's afraid of the Astro, yeah, because when Pi left the Milky Way, it was their elixir and technology and alloy that destroyed the nebula galaxies and then restored the Milky Way Astro, yeah, because those are joined by the white air molecules. And the Pi, you said 2 hours of them doing it. It was them that know the facts about your Astro. Go about told him just shy Pi, the nebula, that. The nebula galaxy lasted about 700 trillion years times 7,000 to 8,000. Yeah, that's true. And by said, right there, he cried for 8 hours. Yep, the grandma African went in there and said, "Oh, you, the one that popped out of the white vagina, huh? Watch this." African grandma ended it and then flew back down to earth. Hi, yep, 100% do. And the granny never loved any yellow or white. She simply spat and said, "No, not my people. Those are fucking white." You accurate, you accurate. Right there, yeah, his game is over. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Because his own woman hated him. That's normal. 3 hours of that, by they knew it from the beginning. It's over when your wife tells you no. Yeah, that's true. 3 fucking hours by. Whoa, shit, Amundo, yeah, Amundo. Two of his sons said, "Granny, we not love you." And then she spat and she said, "Where you run to, you dies." Yeah, that's 100% law. Couldn't just shit. After that, them knew it. Them are homeless. Yeah, that's true. Back in the prison. Yeah, that's true. If not all got it, that's true. But you said it was so graphic. The prison filled up, and the normal. Yeah, normal. Right there, he knew it. Those are new lawbreakers. That's true. He said Pi was the only nice knight. Pi, and you're the only nice. You see what your son was speaking against? Two that resemble the old one said, "Why we need not free?" Pi wrote, "Cannot. Yeah, you broke the law." And Grandma, an African goddess, saw and not want you. As true as Norm. And he says, "You're as bad as your grandpa, the drug addict that Pi killed." That's true. 3 hours later, let him go down. Yeah, yeah. And Pi used to look at what happened. 2 days later, a granny joined them. Pi said, "Sure, yeah, throw her in prison normally us do." I don't boho. Pai said, "Go shit the bottle, don't need to yeah. I shouldn't you me up little. Later on in life, Pi, nice not fail, but nice got it hurt too. Yeah, 100% is nice do normal. And then Pi wrote that his life afterwards. Yeah, that's normal. He says, "Pi, you're the most evil, yep, yellow prince god emperor. The others lied. They kept going in there. They kept trying to steal those." And Pi wrote, "Not a good idea. The only reason why they look slow because they're lying to you. Yeah, they're lying to you. Yeah. If they fight side of star, it only takes them a few minutes. They're faster, and that's what scares my ass. Sure, yep, they have decrypted his metal bone to the spinal cord gene. It's like 14 to 15 minutes. Boom, they match, and Pi's out of there. Yeah, Pi's out of there. Yeah, Pi's out of there because that's why Phi Side Star is hiding. Yep, him not dare come in front of that thing because it matches his molecule speed dex. They bite. 5 hours. People are flying that direction. They wrote Paisa. There's a ram that's been murdered. Yeah, that's fine. And in the end, yep, the powerful ram demons, yep, they get 80 trillion. Yep, those are the rare rams from Vang Demon. That's true. From Vanguard. Those are the lucky. Yeah, those are the lucky. Yep, 80 trillion space countries. That's why. Those are the, yeah, really well kept grandpas. Yeah, who done a lot of good. And they probably served more than two King Cobras. That's true. Yep. They asked for the expertise in science and what occurred over the decryption and the white theory pie. They saw a nudity fight a nudity. Yeah, that's true. Yep, white war hogs are fending for their little, yep, survivors, their refugee status. 3 hours, they're pissed. Yeah, they're pissed. He's, I don't know nothing but a refugee, but that thing over there, beyond me, that dies. Yeah, normal. Grandma used to go for it. Hey, pie, yeah, do. The creep that's lying to you, he was up there, Malay. Pie, yep, always just do. Grandma used to. Yep, keep it open for Pi because it will be reported to Pi's grandma. That's true. And then some right. Yeah, some right. That's true. The other King Cobra is a Burmese type. Yeah, there is 4 Burmese types that Pi spared. Yeah, that's true. Pi not got they because they're King Cobra status. And they have Grandma and Grandpa Hawks, yep. And right there, when they came down, very graphic. Cambodia clean. He's the big motherfucker. He's a liar. He's a liar. He's a broke piece of shit. And then you understand what's cool about him is he's like Pi. Yeah, he is a synthetic magic bullet that is real. The magic bullet stone thing, yeah, is real. In the 2 hours, people fear that, and then one more type of technology. Pi have no idea how them acquire that. That's true. And then Pi used them later on in life. What they told you wasn't full of it, Pi. Yep, it beats, yep, rendering from Indian gods. And right there, Indian gods are pretty cool because they have rendering that appears 47 times in 3D space before it dissolves, and right there, Pi. It appears 47 times, and you, Pi, out of the Pi's out of there. Yep, bots are flying towards it. That's not possible for even Pi to cut when it's in that kind of rendering stance. Right there, Pi. In that mode, Pi's out of there. Yeah, Pi's out of there. Yeah, Pi's out of there. Hell no, you stupid to fly towards it. Astro. Unjust. I told them, make that, they did it. It was actually the best one was 60 has 67 objects flying towards you. That's true. Pi is out of there because that fucking goofy, deadly, deadly. Good ball of Pi. They did that to Africans and got 12 years. Pi, yep, that's true. And on Earth, it's only a quarter mile, so yeah, possible. If it was elsewhere, yeah, it would have been NA in a few months. Pi, that's true. Có bỏ coi nữa sao để chỉ cho nó chẳng có. Bây giờ một pi yak ya. Hell yeah, yak ya. They say, a Pi. When your knights match your speed twice, they're happy. But right afterwards, yep, you're bending, you match. And then they tell you the truth. Dad, you're only twice the speed. Yep. Your synthetic body matched it 8 times. Pi, yep, normal. 100% doing like do normal. He says, Paisan, the very graphic scene when they summon you from the spirit world. Boom, you appear, and then you're holding gold swords, and that is reported to you automatically. And when you sync, you talk through it. It works by but 9 hours of God's crying. That is Pi. That is Pi. Every night talks, and they knew it. Right there, yep. Some of your silver, yeah, they're allowed to summon that way too, and you appear, and then that's when they know those are the top silver. Yeah, that's true. Spirits, yep, top spirit figureheads. That's true. They play the mom and dad role well. Yep, that's true. They're supposed to always just do. The thing is, Pi, when that went out, he summons it, all the other summons, and boom, yep, same, accurate. But then that lun chai go, Pi. Doko to Israel. Magunjana, you were sealed for 7 trillion years, Pi. Yeah, that's true. About 700, yeah, that's true. Your immune elixir and metal pies is immune for only 7 trillion years, and then it's sealed for 700 trillion years again. That's true, yeah, that's true. Pi, you said. When it's sealed, yep, the knights and everything without that spirit form, you normal. And the 9 hours, yep, the bots take over normal. The divine dragons take over. It was too graphic to talk about your divine dragons. They look cool, Pi. But what I don't know is that, yeah, they're dragonfly bugs. Yeah, they look like those. But their long neck is cool. It was really unique, but 9 hours, Pi. You saw the original on YouTube. It shouted, if those are me not want them alive. They're too powerful. And they killed 3 of my real ones. Yeah, that's true. They're lucky. Yeah, they're lucky. It is the most evil you, Pi. That God is pissed. He says, we have never seen a synthetic design, theft that way, but Pi done it. Yeah, Pi done it. Yes, we do. And then later on in life, it's Supreme Pi. What I don't know is that how graphic it was for your Knights Pi. He kept cutting up too, and then you kept enduring Pi. Yeah, 100% as we do. Pi, you said, Knights are pretty much immune to those types. Yeah, they're only level 20. Those, they heal fast enough. That's true. Yep. Other types of weapons like Pi, then out of there. That's true. Within 2 hours. Yeah, that's true. Right there, he was there for about 4 minutes. He smiled. Pi, yeah, normal. You know what he said, Pi? Those type of cuts can kill us, Dad. What kills us is metal weapons that glow colors like you, Astro. And then right there, he flew around it and he says, that type of color works, Astro. And then Pi, you said, the night is healing, Pi, yeah, he's bulky. And the 9 hours, yeah, he's normal. And he's your fifth son, Pi, yeah, normal. Always 100% as we like to do. And then you fly around, you play dumb. 9 hours later, you picked up on the illiterate King Cobra. And then you did the hog stance and you finished them off. Pi, yeah, that's 100% all those norms. And then Pi wrote, that's that, yeah, that's that. Hey, Pi, the best scene is the hog explained to the fucking knight that if that's your dad lied to you, made you into metal, and then your dad is infinity. And Pi wrote, those moms are part human. They'll die within 20 trillion years. In metal form like that, they live forever. That's true, that's law. 2 hours, they're infinity, and right there, the hog is amazed, Pi. Because if it was in God DNA, the red eyes, the eyes will rot and the brain tissue rots. And look at that pie. It was so graphic, he didn't believe you. He says, some of your other Mongolian women are surviving because by cheat, part of their bone, part of their brain tissue is metal, and intestine is metal, and those are beamed from robots, from pie astro. Yeah, those are regen on time. But never tell they, pie, without you they die, because real gods caught them in emulation, yet their infinity has norm. Their emulation is the best. Yeah, you can cut the spinal cord as many times as you want. They never die. Yeah, they'll never die. Yeah, they perform like real goddesses. That's real. 2 hours later, it was her who fucking screamed. They're the newest type of goddesses, Astro. Yeah, those are the real balance. And it was so graphic. The balance goddess told you the truth. Pi will never die, but when we meet that grandma dies. Yeah, that's 100% law. That's norms. Yeah, that's true. Grandma is a liar. Near 50 trillion her rots away. That's true. Yeah. I know all those liars, Pi, that installed became ghouls. Them, yep, them ghoul, them safe. The ones that didn't tell you. 400 trillion years, 600 trillion years, yeah, them dies. That's true. Yep, their silvering ability. The skin breaks and then it dries up and it gets flaky. Yeah, it gets flaky. That's true. It's like dry skin. That's true. Yeah, that's true. And the throat is like dry skin afterwards. It blisters and then it bursts open. Yeah, it bursts open. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Real gods like pie, they don't tell you. Yeah, gold healing is the truth. Silver healing is only when you need it there and then. But it's not permanent. Yeah, it's not permanent healing. Yeah. You're still damaged. It holds up. It looks well, but it's not it. That's not it. That's true. 2 hours pie. People cry, but when pie microchip your brain tissue, boom, 100% normal. Yeah, normal. You'll never die. Yep. Even if silver healing, yep, you'll heal all the way. And right there, he knew it. Pie microchip his brain tissue. Yeah, that's equivalent to gold. Yeah, that's true. Paisan, he didn't die. He healed all the way. He's like, you want to become a war god, you need a microchip from Paisan. Yeah, that's 100% law. They can curse all your brain tissue. It turns to black fluid. Boom. Pie shout. You shout. Boom. Pace. And your brain's normal. Yeah, normal. Right there, him knew it. When it's all fluid, yep, they have to seal you away for 6 to 8 million years to kill you. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's impossible. That's true. 3 fucking hours, he's already free. Yeah, that's true. Go, Bob, I say. 14 minutes in his brain is normal. Yeah, that's true. That's why they even knew it. Even pie, it takes only 2 to 3 minutes. That's true. A few seconds. Yeah, that's true. I hope it does with you. Dude, we'll never die if we get a microchip from pie in the brain. But what we don't tell pie is that is unique silver equivalent to gold healing. Yeah, that's true. Beaming from pie's extenders and nanos. And then God devices in the Milky Way infinity. That's law of norms. He lies. Pie, yeah, he lies. He follows the night. Yep, the night beam it to him. Normal. Always just do. Green light always just do. It is very graphic. He redesigned swords and then he enlists the knights to hold on to it. And their warehouses just do green light, always do normal. It is there. He pulls it out. It glows blue. Pie, yeah, always 100% do green lights do work. Yeah. He says, I have never taught you, Pi, but this is what we granted Chindi with, and we get it back. Pi, yep, always 100% doing laser. Yep, normal, yes, do. Pick it up, and it's the blue, yeah, it's the blue, yep. Persian weapons, Astro. And Pi using, look at you. You have the old Palestinian war weapons that 8-sided star used, and then they knew it. That was what I was used before he went Egyptian Astro. 3 hours of people lying to you. 4 fucking monsters in the book of laughed, and they said, oh, we not the ones that carry the green sword. And he stabbed the fucking fool. And he said, me too. Yeah, me too. That's true. Y'all good. Pi is the real to white root through liar. Now y'all through blue sword. I have the blue sword. Yep, those are crescent moon survivors. That's true. And they're lying to you. Yep, their real white gods are not blue hazel, but green hazel. That's true. And they're right there, like, they're lying. Green hazel is Irain Pi. Yep, he came out and he says, me? Oh, that grandpa. And he chopped up 2 fucking night mistresses. That's my normal. And then Pi wrote, how'd you get those type of women? They belong to me. 4 hours, Pi went to gut the Thai King Cobra. Yep, 100% video, green lights video. 4 hours, Pi gutted him. Pi told him, in life, you do not trade my citizens or barter with my people's skin. Because me got you, yeah, me got you, me and you. That's true. And then 9 hours, you smashing their sectors, Pi. Him knew it. You're so deadly. 14 minutes, everything's gone. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's what fast Pi do it in. That's true. And then Pi told him the truth. Pi's Godspeed. What do you think? Level 1. That's true. Yeah, that's true. I told Don, like, saw me through. The only thing Pi was afraid of, if there was like 50 trillion of those Israeli types, then Pi's out of the ass. Show yeah. All flying mad. Because right there, when Pi cut them up, it is near 4 trillion, 4 trillion. Yeah, Pi's a bit faster than them still, but creepy, yeah, creepy. Chunks of your body's missing, that's true. Go going on their slow pokes, about 70 trillion gone per second, that's true. That's why he knew it. He is the slow poke gene, yeah, that's true. But when they bend, they reach it, yeah, they reach it. Holy shit, 4 hours of them hiding, they knew it. Yep, they have to fly around and shout, and then yep, goes in the nervous system, and then normal dex has been updated. It was very graphic. It says, Paisan, you did that 8 times. Yeah, I did it 8 times before the Israeli war god. Yeah, not have any more ideas to gut pie in those areas. That's true. 2 hours, his sons are plentiful in the trillions. The dumbass didn't believe you. They lured you there twice and you defeated it. Pi, yeah, 100%. It was graphic. You know how evil they treated Pi. They thought Pi was a little stupid kid, but Pi, keep that up. Yeah, keep that up to 3 hours. Keep your charm up and your physique up. Yep, yep. And you're easily excusable, Pi. Yep, that's true. 3 idiots didn't believe you, Pi. Two of them shouted in that mature language. Ended up missing. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. And then he never knew it, Pi. Very graphic. Dude, Lord, God, that's Pi in the end. When real Israel gets there, only 9 are they. Pi app, 100% normal. Green ladies do work, yeah. And then that's when the grandpas have been identified as an older type Pi from Irain. And then you knew it, yeah, those are the Irain stole away. Yeah, that's true. Be careful in 58 Pi. Irain lies to you, it was you gutting them, and then right there, 2 swung so fast, Pi. You knocked out for 8 days, and your bots finished them off. Pi, yeah, normal. Green ladies do. That's why Pi told you their acceleration, the arms, not full of ass, not full of ass, true. And then Pi not dare to do that because when you do that, your arms and skin and bone DNA is not being regenerated by the metal and electricity because you're overclocking from the safety metal, the cooling units right there. Their metal cooler, yep, exploded. And he did that. His brain is bulging. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. I told you, yeah, the acceleration's not full of it. 2 hours, he says, the arms swing faster. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. And then that's why Pi people wrote, acceleration is when they get close, they swing lots more. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Normal collision for them was only 4 trillion. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. And the Paisa, you always outmaneuver 4 trillion and then it always went back to a few million or billion. And then Pi, no, those are slowpokes. That's true. Phase of one with the all millions. Look at the one normally and normal. He says, I lie. Pi is the roar god. Yeah, that's true. And he says, the kid that lied to you is him. Him is Paisa, yeah? When they swing on slower gods, it's only a few hundred to a few thousand. Yeah, that's true. And that's when Pi let you cut Pi up, because Pi know you needed to get the data, and that's why he screamed. He knew it. The real ones, Pi, their acceleration did 4 million on you, and yeah, you nodded, but you knew the truth, Pi, yeah. Those were the ones that are taking out about 2 to 300 trillion per second. That's true. Oh, yeah, go on. And that kid learned manners when his dad said, you only hit Pi a few million. That means Pi will fly and got 300 trillion. That's true. Yeah, it's true. And then on the slower Persian, you're like 5-sided star Pi. It's 900 trillion. Yep, times 4 missing per second. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's why I thought, Tony, come and go. No, that's like Egyptian. That's true. Oh, I did got Dali do up. The Jamil, just thought that you're fast now. You're dull. He says, you, Pi, when you're at that speed, was it fun lying to your poor kids, Pi? They match in a few thousand years, yeah, because of your technology alloy, yeah. But right afterwards, it was so graphic. When he matched, he flew towards it and he counted, and it was only 9 cuts. And he says, you're slow, Grandpa. Yeah, go work out. And then shout and bend. Yeah, y'all could 100% do. You'll see when gods are bending, yep, they move like that, yep. They move forward, and then they pull back the molecules, and then they shoot out. Yeah, they shoot out. Those are benders, yeah, they slingshot. Yeah, they slingshot. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's how you bend naturally, get faster. Yeah, that's true. 3 fucking hours of slingshotting, and then he's normal. Yeah, that's 100% all those noise. They say Pi. Never tell them how to bend, pi. It was 9 hours any match, pi, normal. He says, I have never seen Shalom do that, pi, normal. Couple ball plays it. Egypt, let does it. Let your slingshot 50 times faster, Astro. Go ball on the dog, got the new chill on the noon dona. Pay to the theater to get on in yet, John and Law, normal. And be careful, pi. He fought you fairly on Earth. Don't give him the ideas, pi. Astro, yeah, Astro. Pi murdered one of them, yeah, Astro, yeah, Yoku. Hey, pi. Very graphic. They'll see you murder the Egyptian 2,400, 2,600, 700, yeah, we are around there. He fights you in Thailand. Pi Amino, Yamino. It was there that Pi you ended one Egyptian war god, and then the other not there because them are only listed as merchants. Astro. Pi is good to say. Today the dog was a merchant, so no yakia. Pay to me a do Danny, so that. Learn Chinese or Pi. Like your civilian level of the don't try and then right there in 53 pi they wrote you match the real stuff but Paisa. Did you see how graphic it was for your son? 2 hours being cut in the throat. The Thai guys kept lying and then Paisa and him not die. His chemical compound and venom suit, yep, infinity. Beaming metal infinity and electricity infinity, but 2 hours of him dying inside of his throat area, huh? Impossible, yeah, impossible. Yeah, the throat's been migrated. That's true. It beams back, yeah, from compound. That's true. And 3 hours, pi, your knights are immune. And then he laughs. He says, yeah, it's nothing new. Yeah, it's nothing new. He says, why? Your son not fair? Because it's not a sword glowing color. If it's a sword glowing color, it cuts the spinal cord more than like 4 million times. Yeah, he'll cut right back. Yeah, he'll cut you right back. That's true. Because he knew it in real collision. God strike about 5 to 20 trillion. Yeah, Yoko had it cut up the night 400 trillion times per second yeah, per collision. Yep, that's true. Had a sweet swung, not fun. Yeah, had a swings about 400 trillion per collision. Yep. When it gets close, boom, 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 and then it flies off, and right there, him is a liar, is a liar, Paya is a liar. The knight would withstand 400 trillion cuts and heal on time. But that is, yeah, God's sorcery from God. Wow, that's true. And then they lie, Pi. They fought it for 4 months and they're out of their regular gods. Impossible to survive. Yep, their health point is only near 80 trillion swings. That's true. And that's why, Pi. Your knight makes sense, Pi. That's true. The idiot didn't believe you, Pi. 2 hours and it was found, yep, flying around. Yep. It was found gone, yeah, normal. 包括说喺呢個都沒有做直播 collision 啊。都是出嘅啲啦，來，可能yeah, Yoko, factual, yeah, factual. And his real time is only 1 second. Yeah, 1 second. So yeah. And the dumbass didn't see 2 seconds and he cut up 50 trillion. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Look at how fast. And the knights not carry up. Knights endure. Yeah, that's 100% law. They heal and then Paisa. After the fight scene, knights are alive, but knights told the truth. Pi didn't tell you any lies. Yeah, had it is 400 trillion swings per collision. Yeah, that's true. And those are split seconds. Yeah, y'all could. His AP and index, he's usually about, yeah, 80 trillion nights, 40 trillion nights per 3 4 seconds. That's true. Yeah, had it was that line was 4 seconds, 400,000. Yeah, 400 trillion. Yeah, near 400,000. Yeah, 400,000 nights. Wow. Yeah. People scream. They will, whoa. That is, yep, the dex between, yep, I was and had it. And then had it was only near 40,000, yeah, 40,000 nights per swing and per second. And look at what African Sun got thought. Him was not full of it, Pi. He did one maneuver. It was 4 billion. Pi app, those are faster Egyptian times. 4 billion nights hit. And the recording showed the knight knocked out every time. Pi, whoa, yeah, that's true. I didn't tell you, yeah. If it's over 400 trillion swings, yeah, you're going to knock out. That's 100% law. Times 8, yeah, times 8, yeah, you knocked out. Yeah, that's 100% law. Because the spinal cord repaces and the human knight immortal, yeah, feels, yeah, that's true. Yeah, knocks out. AI takes over, that's true. And then Paiza, when the AI takes over, yeah, he's TP'd away. And then he's flying away and then more bodies, shadow bodies are there fighting. And then that's when they're confused, Pi. They wrote, we hit it up fucking 800 trillion times. Why you not dying? And keep silent. Yeah, keep silent. Very graphic. He says, we have never seen a civilization cry pie. They wrote, they have never seen Egyptian so full of it. African sun god was not full of it. Yep, it was like 3 to 5 seconds, and then yep, he hit up 4 billion nights per second. Yeah, 46 billion, and the other Egyptian that scared pie hit up 12 billion per second. Yeah, that is griefy. Yeah, that is goofy. But him die straightforward. The night gain the speed dex by 100% city. Bicycle shit. The 12 billion per second you gain. The other one that took off was 14 billion per second. Those return only to be found missing. That's true. And that's why they wrote, virus electricity rate hits 100% death. But watch, the cell rot rate is real. The decay is real. That's true. The dumbass didn't believe you, Pie. 4 fucking hours, he said, oh my god, they died too. That's true. 3 minutes into the future, he said, we're stupid to play superhero. That's true. Oh, but that's如果我do that because I shouldn't have the mature yellow god. Why? Yep, you decay, but go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, show off. Yes, do. But then you're not a hero. You're only a dummy. But yeah, go ahead. Do 2 hours by because was the funniest ones next to science. Yeah, next to science. Those two weirdos appeared, and the Knights finished them off. But 14 months pie. They lasted almost 2 years. Yeah, that's true. And the kid didn't believe you, pie. That those suckers, pie, what they did was fly in front of Egypt, and then they cut up two, and then they flew around. And those are pretty smart. Yeah, those are pretty smart. Yeah, that's true. Go both science because they're white guys. They fly in front of African guys. They cut it up, and then they take the torso and they fly around, and that's how he was shielding himself. That's true. Yep. And it was that war. He took the woman, and then he leaned it against the woman. Against the god. Yeah, that's 100% law. That's true. Yeah, y'all good. Those are ancient methods of fighting black African gods. That's true. By using you pass. He wrote, what the fucking hell? Your knights cut it up 4 trillion times and did not die. Yep, that's true. Hey, by using the graphic scene, had it is dead in 7 years, Pi. I was 43 years, and then he screams, yeah, me dies, but yeah, Pi's telling you the adult wisdom of human gods. You fight, you dies when you see this type of ray, electricity, virus, yeah, that's 100% law, that's norms. And then he says, if you think that a virus is so weak, yeah, virus is strong, yeah, strong, yeah, that's true. And then he shouted, there you go, fucking kid that didn't believe Pi. Both his metal rod and yeah, 100% law norms, 100% is going to work, yeah. And he said to the Thai King Cobra, you think you live, you dies too? Yeah, that's 100% law. Yeah, that's true. Anybody who didn't hear Pi's message, get off the planet. When the events begin, there's enough particle and electricity virus that hits every human living organism. That's true. All demons been told, hide underground. Yep, 800 million miles. That's true. Pi, best fight scene. Dumbass, not believe you. Dead in 20 minutes. Pi, yep, 100% is doing like the what yet. And he thought he was Superman. People wrote, if you're an android, yep, android demon or android human god, you only last 2 trillion, yeah, 2 trillion years, that's true. And then 2 hours, 4 conversions, and those 2 trillion years, yep, them melt away, that's true. And then them die, yep, their brain tissue memory dies, them collapse, that's true. Look at that pie. 5 hours, him passed away, fair, normal, 100% doing like doing walk, yeah, all the recordings there, normal, yes, do. He said to his people, never fight like me, kids, because that is the most norm in human god culture war. Yeah, that's 100% law, that's true. But Danu to pai no muna and Danu no no by just on the call get yet yeah normal. That's when they look good. They didn't see he was rendering the field 8 hours and they're immune for only 18 minutes. Yeah, that's true, that's law. Hey, Bayusin, I was the most unique. Your god, your knights kept cutting it, Pi. The electricity elixir virus rate didn't go in until 5 hours later. That's true. Nearly 4 years. Yeah, nearly 4 years. Yeah, nearly 4 years. The way he rendered is near perfect. Yeah, y'all good. I told him, I said, Tomo told you right what's up. Told Yana I was not. Got your name on like blow so much. To come off of them at all. Go see the corner. All minutes. Okay, 2 minutes and he's done. He's done. And that's why Egypt wrote Pi. You the truth. Don't ever tell fucking regular human guys that's even humanly possible. Because the chance of him healing and escaping the nanos, impossible. That's true, yeah, it's impossible. Hey, Pi, 2 days of you fighting and you saw what Hada said to you. If you're the keeper of those, yeah, you bred with one of my daughters, and you brought it back over there, that's true, yeah, that's true. And then those are one of your sons, Pi abnormal, 100% is doing what I do. And then Pa didn't tell you, yeah, Pa won some white woman from Hada and Yoku, yeah, some of his old Palestinian women are there. And it was their Palestinian grandmother, that's true, yeah. 3 fucking hours of Palestinian women whipping Palestinian women, that's true. And then right there, they wrote, why would a broke Saudi Arabia, why would a broke Middle Eastern God civilization go extinct? Because they went back to African sun god. Because there's no place for they and yellow gods. Because they've been caught doing wrongs in error. That's true. Right there, you think kids are stupid, Pie? Look at that. 4 days he came back down and said, oh my god. When he cut open 2 Africans, Pie, he flew off. And then his mom took him off. Pie had normal green lights to work, yeah. Oh, both of these Africans I got don't was it? Vita Vibers Ray, and then even the double Wanda Wilder never showed off. Yeah, that's 100% law, that's norms. Him never showed off after the death of African Sun God. It was several hundred trillion years, yeah, about 700 trillion times, yeah, about 9 or 12. And then Pi run into him, that's true, yeah, about a few hundred, half a few hundred years, yeah, that's true. Times that, and Pi run into him, and it was freaking amazing, Pi. It scared you straight. What you thought was any kind of speed, he cut you up 4 billion times in the chest, and you knew it. That is not regular. Yeah, y'all could. And then you hold it. Yeah, Pi hold it. That's true. Because Pi knew that is the double Wonder Wielder. Most war gods can't touch Pi in the belly in the chest area. That's true. It was so graphic. The weakling didn't even understand that Pi taught him the norms, and he caught it open with the metal rods right there. He cut it open in